Hi, you're watching Reddit Confessions. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories. Now let me tell you what happened the night everything changed. The music stopped when I stood up, but no one else seemed to notice. They were too busy laughing. I wasn't supposed to hear the joke. I was only halfway through my drink, still chewing a piece of overcooked steak when Barrett, my wife's coworker, made the comment. He said it like I wasn't even there, like I was part of the decor. Imagine being married to a guy who apologizes before he speaks. Must be exhausting. There was a pause, then laughter. Not just his, hers too. Lorna, my wife. She laughed. Not loud, not over the top. Just enough. That quiet, knowing chuckle. It wasn't even what she said next that burned. It was how fast she said it. You get used to it. Used to it. Those 3 words undid 15 years of memories. Vacations. Rainy day movies. The awkward proposal in the back of my Toyota Corolla. The miscarriage. The recovery. The first client I landed. Her job promotion. The day we paid off the mortgage. You get used to it. I didn't even push the chair back. I just stood. My wine glass tipped. No one noticed. Except her. Our eyes met for a moment too long. Long enough for her to realize I'd heard every word. But not long enough for her to stop me. I didn't storm out. I didn't yell. I just walked, calmly, quietly, all the way to the elevator. I checked my phone. And that's when I remembered. She gave me her purse to hold earlier, laughing that it didn't match her dress and she didn't want to be weighed down. Inside was her phone. Still unlocked. Still buzzing. And right on top, a text thread. One she forgot to close. One from him. From Barrett. The top message simply read, "If he flakes, my place is still open. Same wine. Same dress. No apologies." That's when my hands started shaking. But not from sadness. From clarity. The elevator was too quiet. That sterile hotel silence, where every second feels like it's accusing you of something. I stared at the phone screen as the floor numbers ticked down. My own reflection in the metal doors looking like a stranger. My wife's phone was still warm in my hands. I hadn't planned to open it. But the screen lit up again just before the doors closed, and curiosity snapped something inside me. New message from Barrett. "Tell him you're staying to help clean up. I'll warm the wine." I gripped the rail so hard my knuckles went white. There were 3 things I noticed right then, like puzzle pieces that clicked into place at the worst possible time. 1, this wasn't new. 2, she hadn't even tried to hide it. 3, I wasn't angry, not yet. Just hollow. By the time I reached the lobby, I realized something else. She'd laughed at me. Not just at the party, but probably for weeks. Months, maybe. Every sweetheart she threw over her shoulder. Every distracted smile over dinner. Every time she swiped her phone away when I walked into the room. It was all part of this. I didn't go home. Instead, I walked out into the cold and sat on a bench across the street, watching the hotel from a distance like a rejected extra in my own life. I could see the top-floor balcony where the party was still in full swing. My wife was probably still up there, sipping wine, laughing with the man who just offered her a night of wine and no apologies. But the longer I sat, the more I realized something dangerous. I could disappear tonight. I could make myself vanish from this mess before it consumed whatever dignity I had left. I had her phone, her bag, her keys. She would have to explain something. And maybe, just maybe, this time she would be the one left stammering. So I stood, took one long look at the glittering skyline behind her hotel, and started walking. Not home. Not to a friend's place. Somewhere she would never expect. And on the way, I sent Barrett a text from her phone. Just 3 words. "He's gone. Finally. Let the games begin." I wandered through the city like a ghost. The streets weren't crowded, just the occasional couple passing by, arms linked, laughing about things I'd never find funny again. I walked until I couldn't feel my feet, until my ears burned from the wind and my fingers ached from gripping her purse like it was a lifeline. Somewhere along the way, I ducked into an all-night diner. Vinyl booths, burnt coffee, The kind of place that doesn't ask questions when you sit down looking like your world just imploded. The waitress brought me a cup before I even asked. I must have looked like I needed it. I sat there for hours, staring at her phone on the table. The message I'd sent Barrett. He's gone. Finally. Still sat there unread. I kept refreshing, like watching it would somehow make him answer. He didn't, but she did. At 1:14 a.m. A message from Lorna popped up. Where are you? Please tell me you're okay. I didn't respond. Not yet. She didn't get to ask that. Not after what I saw. Not after she laughed with him like I was just some background noise to their private show. But I wanted her to sweat. I wanted her to sit in that panic, to feel it crawl under her skin the way humiliation had crawled under mine. So I sent one word back. Later. 10 minutes passed. Then a flood of texts. Please just answer me. I didn't mean any of that. I was trying to make him shut up. It's not what it looks like. Can we just talk? And then the final one, the one that nearly made me laugh in the middle of that dead silent diner. Did you take my phone? I looked at the screen and whispered, No, sweetheart, you gave it to me. And that's when Barrett finally replied. On my way. Bring wine. My chest tightened. It was happening. He thought I was her. He was heading to their little hideaway expecting what? Gratitude? Celebration? I paid the check, grabbed her phone and keys, and walked out into the street with only one destination in mind. Let him come. Let him open that door and find the last person he expected standing there, holding her phone, and holding the truth. The building wasn't hard to find. I'd seen the address on one of her earlier texts when I scrolled back through their thread at the diner. She had it saved under studio supplies. Subtle, clever, trashy. I stood outside the entrance for a while, staring at the buzzer like it might bite me. The lobby lights were dim, the kind of yellow glow that made everything look like a bad memory. I let myself in with her keys. There was no hesitation, no shaking hands, just this strange, icy calm that had settled in my chest like fog rolling in after a storm. I took the elevator up to the 7th floor and found the door with the black 7B plaque slightly crooked. Like even the apartment couldn't commit fully. Inside, it was exactly how I imagined it. Modern couch, obnoxious sound system, a shelf full of books that looked untouched but perfectly curated. Everything about the place screamed performance. He had wine glasses already out on the counter. 2. A red bottle breathing on the island like it was waiting for her. I turned off the lights and waited in the dark. I don't know how long passed. 10 minutes, maybe 15. And then footsteps. The familiar thud of someone trying to be quiet but too smug to succeed. My heart didn't race. My palms didn't sweat. I just felt still. He knocked once, soft and confident. I opened the door before he could knock again. His face. Oh God, his face. It was a full second before recognition set in. First confusion, then something close to fear. Not because of me, but because he hadn't planned for me. I wasn't part of his script. Expecting someone else? I asked, calm as still water. He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried to speak again. Look, man. Don't. I interrupted. Don't look man me. Just come in. You opened this door the moment you pressed send. He stepped inside like a guy walking into court without a lawyer. I handed him her phone. Why don't you read your last message? You were so eager 5 minutes ago. He glanced down, and when he looked back up, I could see it. The panic. You don't understand, he started. I understand enough, and she's about to understand a whole lot more. Because I wasn't just here to confront him. I was here to make sure when she walked into this apartment, there'd be no more pretending. He stood there like a statue, shifting between fight or flight and neither option looking good. I didn't move. I just watched him squirm. I wasn't yelling, wasn't crying, and I think that scared him more than anything else. The silence made him uncomfortable. Guys like Barrett are used to scenes, slam doors, people losing control so they can pretend to be the bigger person. Not tonight. He started to pace. Listen, Elwood. I didn't mean for any of this to go down like this. You mean the cheating? I asked, folding her phone shut and sliding it into my jacket. Or the part where you invited her to your apartment and called me spineless in a text? His mouth opened like he had something profound to say. But nothing came out. We both turned when the door handle jiggled. One key. Pause. The other key. Click. She walked in, stormed in. Looking frantic, eyes wide, hair windblown like she'd sprinted from the Uber. Her purse was missing. Right? I had that too. And then she saw me. For a full 5 seconds, not a word was spoken. Her eyes darted from me to Barrett and then back. I could almost hear the gears grinding behind her forehead, trying to manufacture a believable excuse fast enough to survive this moment. "Elle," she said quietly, "what are you doing here?" "What am I doing here?" I smiled. "I brought your phone. Figured you'd need it for the wine and conversation." Barrett tried to speak again, but I lifted a finger. "No, not yet." She stepped forward like she wanted to close the distance, soften the air. "It's not what you think. I think," I said slowly, "that you've been coming here behind my back, laughing at me in public while calling me a burden in private. That you gave him more loyalty than you gave our marriage." She flinched like I slapped her, but I didn't raise my voice. I just let the words do the work. Barrett cleared his throat. "Maybe we should all just cool down." "Funny," I said, turning to him. "You didn't want me cooled down when you were warming her up, right?" He backed off. Lorna started crying. Quiet tears, the kind meant to reset the tone. But I wasn't offering a reset. "I want you to understand something," I said, stepping toward the door. "I didn't come here to fight for you. I came here to see if you'd lie with him standing next to you." I looked at both of them one last time. Turns out, you still can't help yourself. And with that, I left them standing in the wreckage they built together. I didn't go home. I didn't even walk in that direction. I just wandered until the streetlights blurred together and the ache in my legs matched the one in my chest. I ended up in a motel off a service road, the kind where the neon sign flickers and the front desk clerk doesn't bother asking questions. I handed him cash, took a key, and locked myself in a room that smelled like cleaning products and someone else's problems. Then I turned off her phone. Not mine, hers, because I wasn't done yet. I sat on the edge of the bed for a while, just staring at the tacky wallpaper, listening to the hum of a fridge that barely kept anything cold. I thought I'd cry. I expected it, but nothing came, just this numbness, like my body finally gave up reacting to what my heart already knew. When I turned the phone back on the next morning, the screen exploded with notifications. Missed calls, voicemails, messages. Most were from Lorna. A few from people in her contact list I didn't recognize. Maybe friends, maybe coworkers, maybe people she'd already spun a version of the truth to. But there was one message that made my stomach turn. A message from her mother. "Please talk to Lorna. She's not doing well." So now she was dragging her mother into it. I stared at the screen, heart pounding in that familiar, pathetic rhythm. Like I was somehow still responsible for the mess she made. Like I owed her comfort after she gutted me in a room full of strangers. I didn't respond. Instead, I took a photo of her wine-stained phone, placed it on the motel's Gideon Bible, and added a note beside it in Sharpie on hotel stationery. "You dropped this, along with everything else." I sent her the photo. Then I powered the phone off again. She called me 27 times that night. I let every single one ring out. And then, just before dawn, I made a decision. I was going to disappear, not out of vengeance, but because if I stayed, I'd be the man she thought I was, the man who apologizes before he breathes. And I'm done saying sorry. The beauty of disappearing is that most people don't know how easy it actually is. You don't need a fake passport or an alias. You just need silence, time, and the ability to ignore the urge to explain yourself. I deleted my social media. I forwarded my email to a burner account. I used the last of our shared savings. Yes, the same account she never thought I noticed her skimming from, to rent a cabin 3 states away under a friend's name. No goodbyes. No last-minute drama. Just absence. 2 days later, I got an email from a former coworker. The subject line was simply, "Are you okay?" Apparently, Lorna had called him. told him she was worried, said she hadn't heard from me since a misunderstanding. She framed it like we had an argument and I was being immature. Her poor, sensitive husband, always overthinking, always disappearing into his feelings. She never mentioned Barrett. Typical. I didn't reply to him, but I did keep watching quietly. I used a friend's login to check her socials. She started posting couple photos less than 2 weeks later. Not of us, obviously. Just her and friends at events. Happy hour selfies. Passive-aggressive captions like, "Sometimes peace means walking away. Grateful for those who understand." Grateful? She was grateful she got caught, but then things shifted. The photos stopped. The captions got vague. Her account went private. Mutual friends started unfollowing her. I heard through the grapevine that Barrett had been let go for violating some internal policy. Apparently, someone anonymously sent HR a folder of screenshots. I won't confirm or deny who did it, but let's just say, karma checks her inbox. And Lorna? She showed up at my brother's place 2 weeks later. I wasn't there. She cried on the porch, left a note tucked under a rock that read, "I didn't think you'd actually leave." She thought I'd be waiting, that I'd crawl back after the storm blew over. But the thing about walking away, once you really do it, you stop looking back. It's been 7 months since I vanished. Funny how quickly people stop chasing ghosts. Her messages slowed after the first month. Then came silence. She must have realized I wasn't playing hard to get. I was just done. No dramatic declarations. No desperate conversations. Just the steady hum of a life moving on without her. And in that quiet, I found myself again. I started working for a local nonprofit, designing their digital outreach. Nothing flashy, but it felt good. Purposeful. I stopped flinching every time my phone buzzed. I started breathing deeper, sleeping longer, smiling at strangers without wondering if they'd seen my humiliation posted online. The cabin became my sanctuary. No more fancy parties, no more forced smiles. Just fresh coffee in the morning, cold air through cracked windows, and silence that didn't feel like punishment. Felt earned. Last week, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a photo. Me and Lorna at our wedding. Young, hopeful, pretending the world couldn't touch us. On the back, in her handwriting, were 4 words. "I miss your silence." I stared at it for a long time. Then I burned it. Because she doesn't miss me. She misses the version of me that made it easy to walk all over someone and still sleep well at night. But I'm not that man anymore. And here's the beautiful twist. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need her to fall apart. I didn't even need an apology. I just needed space to become the person I should have been before I lost myself in loving someone who never saw me. Now I wake up grateful. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I finally chose myself. Thanks for watching this story on Reddit Confessions. If you made it to the end, tell us in the comments. What would you have done if you were Elwood? Would you have walked away? Or stayed and made her explain everything? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking, emotional stories like this one. We'll see you in the next confession.